Okay, everybody, here we go. It is me, Gregory Mannarino. Post-market wrap-up on this lovely, freaking lovely Tuesday, November 29th, 2022. People, we got some stuff to talk about, and I really, honestly, I hope I don't freak out on some of this stuff. Let's start off with this market here. Relatively flat today. The Dow put on like 1 point. The S&P 500 a fractional loss. The Nasdaq falling about 0.5%. All right, lovely, fantastic, beautiful, and perfect. But let's just for a moment here look at the drivers. The 10-year yield higher, not much, higher nonetheless. Dollar relative strength higher. Okay, nothing dramatic, higher nonetheless. Are we about to see this get worse? Well, the MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, a shade under 250, which is still high risk. Remember, above 300 is extreme risk. That's the red line in the sand. I'm not saying that's when the market's going to crash, because we already hit 300 and we witnessed what happened here. Fed president comes out reassuring the market. Nick the Pig, the Fed whisperer, comes out explaining everything's going to be just fine. Market takes off. MMRI drops. Some mysterious entity out here, I wonder who it could be, starts buying all the debt. And it's just an incredible thing to witness. But that's the truth. We got today gold and silver, despite the stronger dollar on a relative basis, catching a nice bid. Silver especially, like up 2.5%. Cryptos, Bitcoin doing very well. Crude oil catching a bid. All right, overall, the setup here isn't so bad. We'll see how it plays out. You already know the game. If they can keep the 10-year yield stable, relative strength of the dollar stable, no continuing knee jerks higher into the perceived safety of the dollar. You got to be kidding me. Or debt for that matter. Okay. And they managed to prop up crude. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters here when you have a managed market, and that's exactly what we have here. You think we have even the slightest resemblance of a free market? There is nothing here at all that resembles a free market. You all know that. When you have a global scenario where central banks continue to buy all the debt, how does a central bank, any central bank on this earth, keep rates at a certain level? How do they do? They just say it? Do they just, whip up some kind of magical spell and it just happens? No. Central banks must get into the market and make it happen. So that means in order to keep rates suppressed, and they're way suppressed right now around the world, you know exactly what's going on here. Central banks are buying it all, despite what nonsense, garbage, dog shit, cat shit, reptile shit they're flinging at you. Oh, look at the Fed's balance sheet. It's shrinking. Really? How about we see the off-balance sheet stuff that's going on? You and I, not even the freaking president of the United States is entitled to see the off-balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. That's the truth here. But we did hear from Braintard, whatever we decide to call her today. Now, she acknowledged today, pay attention to this, because this is what makes Greg Mannarino's blood boil. And I feel like steam is going to go blasting out of my ears. Seriously, like a cartoon. So Fed Vice Chair Lael Braintard, what is she doing? She came out blaming supply chain issues for continuing inflation. She's acknowledging it, the thing, okay? They're all things. She's acknowledging that inflation continues to rise, but it's not the fault of the Fed. We're trying to make a difference here. You see, we've been raising rates month after month after month after month, but inflation keeps on rising, but it's not our fault. No, it's supply chains. It's the supply chains. It's not the Fed, because we're doing a fantastic job. We've done nothing but inflate the debt of the United States, and central banks around the world are destroying everyone and everything by creating slave nations and slave people to these freaking central banks here, and they continue to inflate, and they're not going to stop. So Braintard, Leo Freak Show, whatever it may be, just speaking about that real quick, I do read through the comments, and it seems that some of you get very offended when I call out the Federal Reserve presidents to call them things and its and creatures. Well, if you don't like it, look, unsubscribe. I don't freaking care. I don't even want you here. If you can't, really, honestly, is that what gets to you? Is that what's bothering you? It's not the fact that you're getting crushed by these organizations, that you're being literally destroyed and eliminated. That's fine. But if Greg Mannarino comes out and calls them things, its, creatures, I can't hear that. Are you kidding me? You really got to be kidding me. But, okay, what the freak ever. Bye. See ya, because I'm not stopping. Anyway, let us move forward, lovely people. We found out something else that I don't think is a surprise to anyone here. Consumer confidence continues to crater. However, something interesting came out in this news today. So, consumers are concerned, obviously, about the rising cost of living. It's getting out of control. But there's a little caveat here. People are now saying they're concerned about food insecurity, meaning they're not making enough money here without borrowing to actually feed themselves and their families. What does that mean? Well, more slaves to the system. And that's obviously what is being done here. Why do you think, honestly, let's just for a nanosecond sit back and ponder what's actually going on. We're watching a shift. I've explained this for years. A paradigm shift, a whole new set of rules, a whole new dynamic here. Why are central banks raising rates the way that they are right now, knowing it's not going to stop inflation whatsoever? There's no truth to that at all. So when Braintard, you don't like Braintard? I'm sorry, you can unsubscribe. I know that offended somebody. Braintard, let's all say it together. Braintard, Tard. You don't like it? Sorry. I'm telling you, this shit gets to me sometimes, even though I just had a nice little vacation. All right, anyway. The things that offend people are beyond my wildest dreams. They just can't handle it. Anyway, like I was saying here. So what's going on? Central banks realize around the world that the economy is grinding to a halt. Okay. Factory activity, manufacturing, job losses are being predicted all over the place in mass by Federal Reserve presidents as well. Braintard, another one. All right, you don't like that? I'm sorry. But he's another one explaining that this is going to happen. Fed President Williams is expecting massive job cuts moving forward. But you see, the Federal Reserve, they have a price stability mandate. How is that working out? How about it's not? Prices continue to rise. And they also have a full employment mandate. And they're going to tell you that we're at full employment. Meanwhile, the economy continues to crater around us. I mean, come on, people, really? Seriously? Anyway, so this is interesting here with this food insecurity. And I think it's very, very sad. You think they're trying to starve us to death? Look. With regard to inflation, people, let me let you in on a little bit of a secret here. There is no end in sight to it. It's going to continue and continue. It was never transitory. It was never temporary. That was the lie that was being sold. Let me ask you this while we're on that topic here. So we understand, both you and I, that the mainstream propaganda ministry pushed that temporary and transitory narrative so deep up your wazoo, you know what I'm talking about? That you could taste it in your mouth from the other end. They pushed that so freaking hard. Where's the accountability? How about it's nowhere? It's astonishing to me that you can live in a society where people get so offended by things like tard and idiot and imbecile and retard and whatever they hate these words to such a degree that they can't sleep at night. They sit there with their eyeballs beaming open to the ceiling. I can't handle it. But all this other stuff is just fine. It's just completely fine. Will someone here please comment, explain that to me? Because Greg Mannarino doesn't understand it. I don't get it. Anyway, some other interesting news that we're finding out. So shipping costs are continuing to rise, and they're going to rise even further. So whatever you want to ship off for Christmas and whatever else you want to mail a letter, it's going up. Oh, I'm so surprised. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so frightened. I'm so scared. Look, you see what happens? I go away on a little vacation, go see a buddy of mine. I haven't seen him in decades. Come back all refreshed, and all of a sudden I'm freaking sweating. My freaking heart's pounding. My blood pressure's going up. I don't know about you people, but this stuff is just pretty outstanding here. So I want to hear from you. So Lael Braintard, what are we calling her again? Pick one. She is now, again, acknowledging. I want you to think about this. Here we have the Federal Reserve Vice Chair acknowledging that inflation continues to rise. So it's not peaking. You know, it's the Main Street right now. Peak! It's peaking. It peaked in June. It's peaking right now. Yeah, no. So we have an acknowledgement that from the Fed freaking vice freak chair, Lael Braintard, turd. Inflation continues to rise, but she's blaming supply chains. It's not the Fed. It's not them, because they're very serious. You know how serious they are about fighting inflation. Do you know how you can tell that they're serious about it? Because they're telling you. And if they're telling you that, it absolutely must be true, correct? Or am I reading this wrong? Can someone please enlighten me, because I have no idea what's going on, quite obviously. And this consumer confidence with food insecurity, that's troubling to me, honestly. I don't want anybody to be hungry, but what they're doing is creating slaves to the system. You all know that. They need as many people as they can to go on food stamps, whatever the hell they got to do, some kind of government assistance, so they are dependent on the system. So when they crater this system by design, and you better be ready for that, they'll have all these people that, help me, save me, I need to be saved, because I can't do anything for myself, because you all made me a slave. Nation slaves, individual slaves. A newborn child here in the United States, if the moment they breathe their first breath, is already a slave to debt. They're already a slave, tens of thousands of dollars in debt before they even took their first freaking breath. That's how sick and perverted and twisted the system is. Imagine that. Imagine being born before they slap you and make you cry and take your first breath, okay? You're already a debt slave. How does that work? Unless you're living in some twisted alternate reality that is kind of almost like a freaking nightmare. I think you'd have to agree with me on that. All right, look, people, this guy here, Gregory over here, loves you a lot. I mean that. Please comment, ponder the things I've spoken about. Comment here about these things. Believe me, when I read through the comments and I see some of you out here, most of you at least, we're on the same page, it makes me feel better. Of course, those outliers, you know, who get so offended, they can't handle it. Well, neither can I. All right, look, see you in the morning. Love you a lot. And I'm just out of here.